Hi guys, Karen from Timberline Tack here, and we're going to talk today about the two types of studs that we sell here at Timberline Tack. The first type is the regular scoot boot studs. Hopefully my camera will focus on that. And these are kind of like little augers, and you drill a small hole partway into the boot and then you screw these in. We do have another video on how we install these, how we install the two types, so I won't get too much into the installation, but just want to show you the difference in the two types. And then these are the T-nut type, so it consists of two parts. This is the part that goes on the bottom on the outside of the boot, and then it screws into this part. So it's a nut and a bolt, and here's how that looks installed on the bottom, and you can see they're a little bit higher profile and quite a bit bigger. And then here's how they look on the inside. They have these little platforms. They are completely flush with the bottom of the boot, so you're not getting extra pressure on the hoof in those spots, assuming you're riding on snow and packed snow. So that's that. And here, the T-nuts require holes to be drilled all the way through the boots, and I think you can kind of see the size of that bottom hole. You can see things showing through it. So they do require you to drill these holes all the way through, and then this part would go on the inside through the hole. Again, I'll kind of leave that to the install video, but this part goes on the inside, and this part goes through the bottom, and then you screw them together. So as far traction wise, we haven't noticed a big difference, but the other day we did a 5-mile ride, and on one horse we had the scoot studs on the front, T-nut studs on the back. On the other horse we had T-nuts all the way around. When we got to a steep downhill, the horse with the scoot studs on the front did slip a little bit, but just a few inches, where I know if he didn't have the studs in, it would have been a much bigger slip. The other horse did not slip at all. Now, whether that's, saying much, kind of a one slip test, I don't know how much that says, but I do feel that the T-nuts have a little bit better traction because they're higher profile. So the other thing that's different is, of course, with these holes drilled, if you're going to remove the studs in springtime, you can get, as you can see, I have a pebble lodged in there right there and here. But what we found is a pebble about that size will lodge in the hole, and then around it will pack with grit. We've been using these for 2 or 3 winters and removing them in the spring, and we've never had any grit in the boot because of having these holes. So I don't think that's a disadvantage. If you're thinking of reselling your boots, who knows, it might turn some people off to have these holes in the boots, but if you're keeping them, I don't see it as a disadvantage at all. The scoot studs, as we mentioned before, the holes don't go all the way through, so that's kind of nice. So when you remove them, I don't have an example of that, but when you remove them, you can hardly tell there's a hole there, but the issue is they can get packed with grit, and then it's hard to clean out because they don't go all the way through, and then it's harder to replace, put the studs back in the following winter. So again, I guess I lean a little bit towards the T-nut studs. There is really no way these things are coming out. Like, the whole boot would have to rip apart or something for these to come out. And that's just, I just don't see any way these can come out. The scoot studs, we haven't used them as much. I have heard of them coming out, but seems like they do grip, or they do stay in the boot pretty well. And when you buy them, you get this packet with the studs and this little install tool, and they come with enough for 4 boots with 4 studs in each boot and a spare per boot. So you do have spares in case any do come out. The T-nuts we sell by the eaches. We don't see any reason to ever send spares. I've never had anybody say they lost one. So those you're just buying, 8 for a pair of boots. So another thing about that is I would recommend generally having all 4 boots on with studs if you're riding in really slippery conditions. You don't want front feet gripping and back feet slipping. If you do ride with just one set of studs, if you've got studs in the back, that's going to help you going uphill. Downhills with studs in the back and nothing in the front could be a little treacherous, and vice versa. If you just have them in the front, you'll probably do okay on downhills, but maybe not so much on uphills. So just be careful with that. And I think I covered anything, but if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.